I still can't wrap my head around it, you guys. It's been 2 weeks since that dinner, and I'm sitting here in my cramped little apartment, staring at the walls, replaying every word, every look, every clink of a fork against a plate. My family, my parents, my two younger siblings invited me over to their sprawling house in suburban Ohio, the one with the manicured lawn and the wraparound porch I used to play on as a kid. They said it was a special occasion, a chance to reconnect after months of me being buried in work. I should have known something was off when Mom's voice trembled on the phone, or when Dad kept dodging my questions about why everyone had to be there. But I brushed it off. Family's family, right? How wrong I was. The night started normal enough. The smell of roasted chicken and garlic mashed potatoes filled the dining room, warm and familiar, like a hug from my childhood. My sister, Emily, 24, and fresh out of college, was giggling with my brother, Jake, 21, and still figuring out life, about some TikTok trend. Mom bustled around with that nervous energy she gets, refilling water glasses, while Dad sat at the head of the table, his salt and pepper hair catching the chandelier light. I was 28, the oldest, the one who'd moved to Cleveland for a marketing job, the one who sent money home when Dad's hardware store started struggling. I thought they were proud of me. I thought wrong. We ate, laughed, swapped stories about work and the neighbor's loud dog. Then, halfway through dessert, Mom's famous apple pie, the crust flaky and cinnamon scented. Dad cleared his throat. Room went silent. Emily stopped mid-laugh. Jake's spoon froze in the air, and Mom's hands twisted the napkin in her lap. "We need to talk," Dad said, his voice low, like he was about to confess a crime. My stomach dropped, but I forced a smile. "What's up? Everything okay?" I asked, glancing around. No one met my eyes. Dad pulled out a folder, the kind with crisp edges and official stamps, and slid it across the table. "It's about the will," he said. My heart thudded. A will? At 28? I thought maybe he was joking. Maybe this was some weird family prank. But his face was stone, and Mom's eyes glistened with tears. "We've decided to leave everything to Emily and Jake," he continued, and the words hit me like a punch. Everything. The house, the store, the savings, the lake cabin we'd spent summers at, gone to them. Not a dime for me. I sat there, pie cooling on my plate, the sweet scent turning sour in my mouth, and I couldn't breathe. "Wait, what?" I managed to choke out, my voice cracking. "Why? What did I do?" Dad leaned back, his jaw tight, and Mom started sobbing quietly. Emily and Jake exchanged a look, guilty, but silent. "It's not about what you did," Dad said, his tone softening but still firm. "It's about what you are, or what you've become." I stared at him, my mind racing. What I'd become. I'd busted my ass for years. College loans, late nights at the office, helping them out when the store nearly went under. I thought they saw that. Apparently not. Mom wiped her eyes and spoke up, her voice shaky. "Honey, we love you. You know that. But we found out about the letters." "Letters?" I frowned, completely lost. "What letters?" I asked, my hands trembling as I gripped the table edge. Dad sighed, pulling out a stack of envelopes from the folder. Old, yellowed ones, with my handwriting, addressed to them from years ago. "These," he said, spreading them out. "The ones where you talked about your feelings, about being different." It hit me then. Those letters were from when I was 19, struggling with who I was, trying to come out to them as gay. I'd written them in secret, poured my heart into every word, then chickened out and never sent them. I'd hidden them in a box under my bed, or so I thought. How did you? I started, but Dad cut me off. We found them when we cleaned out your old room. We read them, and we just can't accept it. We've prayed, we've talked, and we believe this is the right choice. The inheritance stays with the family we understand. The room spun. I felt the heat of shame crawl up my neck, mixed with a cold rage I'd never known. The family you understand? I repeated, my voice rising. I'm your son. I've always been your son. Emily reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Jake mumbled, It's not personal, man. But it was. It was the most personal thing I'd ever felt. Mom cried harder, saying, We thought you'd change. We hoped. And that broke me. Hoped I'd change. Like I was some project they could fix. I stood up, the chair scraping against the hardwood, and grabbed my jacket. So that's it? I said, my voice thick with tears I refused to let fall. You're cutting me out because I'm gay? Because I'm not the straight son you wanted? Dad didn't answer, just looked down at the table. Mom reached for me, but I stepped back. I've given you everything. Money, time, love, and this is how you repay me? I didn't wait for a response. I walked out, the cool April night air hitting me like a slap as I drove home, my hands shaking on the wheel. That was 2 weeks ago. I haven't spoken to them since. Emily texted me an apology, saying she didn't agree, but didn't know how to fight it. Jake's been silent. I've been a mess, crying in the shower, staring at old photos, wondering where I went wrong. But then I realized I didn't. They did. They chose hate over love, tradition over their own kid. I'm hurt, yeah, but I'm also angry. Angry enough to share this here, to let it out, to see if anyone's been through this too. I don't know what's next. The lawyer called yesterday, confirming the will's final. No appeal, no second chance. But I've got friends, a job, a life I've built. Maybe that's my inheritance now, something they can't take away. I just needed to get this off my chest.